Hi there. Now we're going to do lesson 21. I am determined to see things differently. Paragraph 1. The idea for today is obviously a continuation and extension of the preceding one. This time, however, specific mind searching periods are necessary, in addition to applying the idea to particular situations as they may arise. 5 practice periods are urged, allowing a full minute for each. You're not being asked to spend a whole lot of time doing this, just a minute, but do it frequently, 5 times during the day, so that you really get the hang of this practice, which is you making the commitment to want to see things differently. Practice 2. In the practice periods, begin by repeating the idea to yourself. Then close your eyes and search your mind carefully for situations past, present, and anticipated that arouse anger in you. Remember that the key word here is anger. The anger may take the form of any reaction ranging from mild irritation to rage. The degree of the degree of the emotion you experience does not matter. You will become increasingly aware that a slight twinge of annoyance is nothing but a veil drawn over intense fury. Now, there are many things that are going to be revealed to us as we continue this path with these lessons about what that intense fury is about. But for now, we're not going to be concerned with what that is. So don't let your mind want to figure out what this intense fury is about. Stay with the practice of the exercise that is leading you to create a habitual form of assessing what is in your mind by acknowledging when you're angry, when you have that irritation, which is an invitation to see what your ego's motivation has been, to go to the place that you acknowledge your determination to see things differently. We're just establishing the habit of your commitment to wanting to deliberately see things differently. Paragraph 3, try therefore not to let the little thoughts of anger escape you in the practice periods. Remember that you do not really recognize what arouses anger in you, and nothing that you believe in this connection means anything. So don't try to figure out the connection between the anger and the fury and what's happening. Just do the practice. You will probably be tempted to dwell more on some situations or persons than on others, on the fallacious grounds that they are more obvious. This is not so. It is merely an example of the belief that some forms of attack are more justified than others. We've got to remember that these lessons are building one upon the other. And we had studied in lesson 5, in the lesson where it says that I am never upset for the reason I think, we heard this being told to us that there are no small upsets. They are all equally disturbing to my peace of mind. So whether it's a small anger or a big anger, it's still disturbing your peace of mind. And you want to create the practice of not selecting big things versus little things, or little things versus big things. Let them all be equally disturbing to your peace of mind, because you want to see differently, equally, regardless of what it is. You don't seriously want to see things differently with the little stuff, but not the big stuff. You want to see things differently with everything. So let it all be equally as disturbing to your peace of mind, so that they're both, or all of them, equally as encouraging for you to see things differently. Paragraph 4. As you search your mind for all the forms in which attack thoughts present themselves, hold each one in mind while you tell yourself, I am determined to see the name of the person differently. I am determined to see my son, Spencer, differently. I am determined to see my neighbor, Maureen, differently. I am determined to see the president of this country differently. The next one is, I am determined to see the specific situation differently. I am determined to see my divorce differently. I am determined to see that post on Facebook differently. I am determined to see that person's cancellation of their appointment differently. I am determined to see how my store doesn't carry that favorite food item differently. Paragraph 5, try to be as specific as possible. As you could tell, I was being very specific. So you may, for example, focus your anger on a particular attribute of a particular person, believing that the anger is limited to this aspect. If your perception is suffering from this form of distortion, so if you're distorting things, if you're trying to be specific, or change things around, here's a suggestion. I am determined to see the specific attribute in the specific person differently. So I am determined to see my anger about that cancellation differently. I am determined to see my frustration about that Facebook post differently. So we want to encourage ourselves to be comfortable with being very specific about the thing that it is that we want to see differently, because we're training our mind to really look at things differently. So here's the thing about this lesson. I am determined to see things differently. Inherent in that statement, for it to be sincere, you are making a statement, an underlying statement, that the way that I'm seeing things for me must not be working. If I want to see them differently, it's because the way I'm seeing them is not helpful. So this is a statement, this is a lesson that is going to activate your ego mind. The ego mind that has been designed to keep us safe and protected. The ego thoughts that want to say, well, I know how to take care of myself, so let me keep that person or whatever, that situation, at a distance, doesn't want to see things differently. The part of you that is used to giving you a consistent result that you believe because it's familiar is what keeps you safe, is what you want to begin to see differently. Because as Einstein said, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So you can't see differently with the same mind that sees the same. So you are going to have to hold yourself accountable to that. If you want to see things differently, you must stay in curiosity. Otherwise, you're trying to control the situation and look at it the same way. So if you are really serious about wanting to see things through the eyes of love, you gotta want to see things differently. If you want to see things through the eyes of compassion, through curiosity, you've got to be willing to make that statement. I want to see things differently, because when I see it the same way I've always seen it, I keep getting the same result. This requires courage. This requires vulnerability. This requires honesty. So you don't have to share this with anybody else, but with yourself. Since this is a course in mind training, train your mind by you being vigilant for what is being said in your own mind. Begin to become the presence of awareness that is aware of a situation that you know you want to change, and see it differently. Because that differently is your commitment to flipping the way you think, to shifting your perception about things, to exposing the way the ego has been thinking, so that you can allow yourself to begin to see how God sees things. And it's going to be totally opposite, totally different. So enjoy this lesson. Give yourself permission to really, truly practice it, and let yourself feel what comes up for you, any resistance to seeing things differently, especially when you start talking about the anger about somebody or the judgment that you might have made or that somebody made of you. You have been looking at it one way before. Now you're going to see it differently. Note, how were you seeing it before? So that you know that that is the thing that is disturbing to your peace of mind. And now you want to see it differently because you want to move towards experiencing peace of mind. We have to become familiar with the things that we're shifting, because at some point we need to be able to be aware of it. So as it begins to rise, we can stop it. We can let that go. We can forgive ourselves for that old way of seeing things and shift ourselves into the new way of seeing things, which is the only way that is going to lead to connection, to love, to oneness, to peace of mind, and ultimately to the harmony that we're all seeking, not only within ourselves, but with all of humanity. Thanks a bunch, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.